Welcome back to Evening in America. I am now joined by Democratic nominee for U.S. Senator from Arkansas, Hallie Shoffner. Hallie, thank you so much for joining us.
It is my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start off. My first question for you is, with the midterm elections approaching this fall, what strategies do Democrats need to build and sustain momentum?
Honestly, I think it's really all about the message and the messenger, right? So one of the things about my candidacy that's a bit unique is that I'm a sixth generation farmer. I grew up on a farm. I have been farming for the last 10 years. Unfortunately, we had to close my family's operation due to the deepening farm crisis, which is happening in about 8 different agricultural based states in the country. We talk a lot about affordability as Democrats, and that is an absolutely fantastic message. I'm really excited that we are focusing on things like cost of living and healthcare, gas and grocery prices. But one of the things that I want us to focus on as Democrats is to make sure that we are including the candidates who know what affordability actually means and who are coming from states that do experience affordability as a crisis. Arkansas is a really good example of that. We are the hungriest state in the country. So we have the highest rates of food insecurity, especially amongst children. 1 in 4 children in Arkansas are hungry. We are the second sickest state in the country, just ahead of Louisiana, and we're the fourth poorest state in the country. Our ask to the National Democratic Party is that if we are going to have affordability as a message, let's make sure that we are also focusing on the areas of the country in which that message is going to be most relevant and the candidates who are closest to that problem.
Yeah, and as a part of your campaign, as you were just saying, you stress your background as a farmer. Another Democratic candidate for Senate this year is also a farmer, Graham Plattner from Maine. What about that
That's right.
background do you think can help a politician, really?
I mean, it's really all about authenticity. It's really all about sharing the values of the people in your state. I mean, agriculture in Arkansas, that's our largest industry. It's a $30 billion per year industry. A comparison is our manufacturing industry is next, and it's at $15 billion. So it's a big gap. 1 in 6 jobs in Arkansas is related to agriculture. Everybody touches the agricultural economy in so many different ways. And really having a candidate like me who comes from that community, it bridges a gap between the urban and rural areas in Arkansas, which do tend to be divided politically as well. And my message, whether I'm in a farm shop or whether I'm in a Democratic county party meeting across the state, I'm really not asking anybody to become a Democrat. I'm just asking, can't we do a lot better than what we're doing right now? Can we do better than being the hungriest state in the country, the second sickest, the fourth poorest? And really, can't we do better than politicians like Tom Cotton? Tom Cotton is particularly unpopular in Arkansas, and one of the reasons is he did what a lot of politicians do. They go to D.C., they stay too long, they pull the ladder up behind them, and they get too far away from the problem. And that's really what people in Arkansas are hungry for, is a candidate who represents them in more ways than one.
Yeah, and one of your major campaign issues is the cost of living in Arkansas. Last year, Zohran Mamdani won the race for mayor of New York on a similar platform. What is your position on policies like the ones he's championed in New York?
Everything is going to, I mean, everyone is going to look different depending on the state that you're in. Arkansas is definitely not New York. It's definitely not any kind of place on either the East or West Coast. What this campaign is Arkansas focused. And that's really what any campaign should be, right? It should be all about the people of your state or of your district. Because, and I say this all the time, like, I'm the candidate, but I'm not the hero of this story. The people of Arkansas are. And when we talk about what is good for the people of Arkansas, we're talking about the things that they wake up thinking every single day. And I say this to Democrats as well as Republicans. The people in Arkansas who are waking up every single day, they're worried about gas prices, they're worried about grocery prices, they're worried about whether their job's going to be there tomorrow, they're worried about whether their kids are getting a good education. We're not worried about national issues. We're not really worried about things like the Epstein files. We're just worried about how do we get by every single day. And that has got to be the focus of any campaign, is the people that campaign is going to represent.
Yeah, and one more thing, also like Zohran Mamdani, you've been fairly active on social media throughout this campaign, and obviously everyone knows how big social media has been. What has been your philosophy when it comes to the role social media plays in your campaign, and How do you think that type of message will evolve in the future with social media as a whole?
I mean, I think social media has a place. I think what we're doing more in this campaign is we're dusting off an old playbook of retail politics. And that is just me putting 10 toes into every single community I can and shutting my mouth and opening my ears. Now, social media, as a strategy, as a tool for us, it's just about authenticity. It's just about finding the right message for the people of Arkansas and being able to amplify it. One thing I will say about social media is we've been able to reach a younger audience in a way that most candidates in Arkansas cannot. I mean, anywhere I go, a young person walks up to me and says, "Oh my God, are you that farmer lady running for something? I saw you on TikTok." And that is really fantastic. I do worry about the younger generation of voters and being engaged. A lot of that engagement does happen online. And it's really good to be able to have candidates like me who can go online, who can present themselves very authentically, speak in a way that people understand. It also helps that I am relatively young. I mean, I'm 38 years old, which actually technically makes me 2 years too old to be a young Democrat in Arkansas. But they've given me honorary status, so that works too.
Awesome. We're in the midst of the largest partial government shutdown in United States history. How has the DHS
Yeah.
shutdown affected the people of Arkansas, and what would you do if you were currently in the Senate?
Yeah, so I mean, this breaks my heart. And I think this goes back again to our politicians being too far away from the problem. Our TSA agents in Arkansas, we don't have a large, we don't have a large airport, so we don't have as many TSA agents as say Georgia would. But those TSA agents, I mean, on average, they make about $50,000 a year, and if you're supporting a family on that, that's not a living wage. We can't have political fights at the expense of the people who work on the ground. That also holds true for FEMA. So Arkansas is a state that uses FEMA more often than most because we are affected by disasters fairly frequently, pretty much every single year. And so FEMA possibly being cut is going to be an issue for us as we move into our tornado season. Again, this is about not playing political games with people's lives. This is about the people of Arkansas, the people of your state, of your district. This is about how do they feel on a daily basis? How are they operating? How are they functioning? And if what you're doing in Congress is not for the benefit of the people of your state, then it's not right.
Yeah, and you've said the system is rigged against working families. What are the top changes you prioritize in Washington to fix this specific issue?
So, I mean, for us, when we say that the economy has been rigged, we mean that it's been rigged in favor of big corporations and politicians who cater to corporate lobbyists. So, every single industry in Arkansas is dominated by a monopoly. And that is not good. I mean, it's really bad for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that if our companies do not have to compete for our business, that means that we are going to get less of a product, a poor product, or really crappy customer service, or all three of those. And we have to take it as American consumers because we have no other options. Monopolies are probably one of the most dangerous threats to our economy right now. We have to be able to open up markets so that small businesses can compete, so that people who have innovation and ingenuity can open up new businesses. I mean, right now, a really good example of this is in farming. Our seed and our herbicides and our fertilizers are controlled by only four companies. And so those four companies can pretty much do whatever they want and pass that cost along to farmers. Farmers are already suffering. This is happening in any industry. If you talk to firefighters, firefighters can't get trucks because there's a monopoly on fire trucks. And so they're running trucks that are unsafe or really old and need upgrades. This is going to be affecting our health care industry because we have monopolies in health insurance that are vertically integrating across pharmaceutical companies, across medical clinics and hospitals. This is something that we have to tackle, and we can tackle it first by opening up markets and not allowing these massive corporations to buy into those markets and eliminate the competition, but then also to just enforce the antitrust laws that we have in this country for a reason.
Yeah, and you've criticized spending on foreign conflicts while Arkansas families struggle. How would you balance national security with domestic economic needs if elected?
Yeah, so I think one of the issues that I have with the war in Iran is that we're spending $1 billion a day. And for Arkansas specifically, with agriculture being our largest industry, We need to be able to support our agricultural industry, not just by keeping our farms afloat, which we definitely need to do. And we could be devoting some of the money that we're using in Iran to do that. But also, we need to make investments in infrastructure. If we want to bring in new industry into our rural communities, we're operating right now on grid systems, electrical grid systems, and water systems that in some cases are 30 years old. What we're asking in Arkansas is not for the government to give us any kind of handout or sympathy. We're asking for investment. We're asking for an investment that would have a return on investment. And that return on investment would be higher paying jobs, new businesses that create tax revenue and a tax base for rural communities, better schools. We're asking for children who are not hungry, children who are not sick. We believe in Arkansas in using your money wisely. Right now, spending $1 billion a day in Iran while ignoring the people that make up the workforce of America, that doesn't make any sense to us. And that kind of job performance, honestly, out of people like Tom Cotton, that's going to get you fired in Arkansas.
Hallie, is there anything else you'd like to add before the end of this?
I mean, I just admire what y'all are doing as a student-run broadcast television show, and I love how involved y'all are, and I hope that the young people of Arkansas get as energized about this campaign and about politics and civic engagement as y'all are, because I truly believe that this is the time for change. And for any young person out there who doesn't believe that their vote matters, my question to them is, if your vote didn't matter, why are they trying so hard to take it from you? In my lifetime, there is no vote that matters more. Lyndon Johnson stood on the floor of Congress when he was advocating for the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and he said that voting is the best instrument devised to fight injustice. And down here in Arkansas, we believe that's true, and we believe it's now that it's more important than ever.
Well, Hallie, thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for joining us today. We all greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad.
Don't go anywhere. After the break, our political panel is here to discuss the continuing Department of Homeland Security shutdown. This is Evening in America.